Good morning to you. Welcome to Kingdom Shakers, right here on Life 97.5 FM, where we chat with a believer in Christ who is using their gift to glorify God and accomplish their purpose, fulfilling his mandate on the earth. And I'm so pleased to chat this morning with a Trinidadian sister all the way in the UK. Her name is Glynis Brewster Nathan, and she is a master health and wellness coach, a founder of Signature Health, and so much more. We're going to be hearing about what she wrote as a part of an anthology. We're going to be hearing a little bit about that here in Kingdom Shakers. And of course, she is the first lady, wife of a pastor. Good morning to you, Glynis.
Good morning to you.
Well, you're in the UK, so it's afternoon for
It's
you.
afternoon for me, yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Today is a nice day. I can see blue sky.
Good.
I'm a real child of the soil of the Caribbean, born there, even though I grew up here. So when there is blue, when I can see blue, I say yes. When I can feel warm, I say yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wow! So you were born in Trinidad, but you're raised in England. So,
yes,
so you consider yourself a Trinidadian English girl.
I consider myself Trinidadian.
Trinidad. Okay.
I may have the credentials that allow me to be British, but I consider myself to be Trinidadian.
Okay,
Yeah.
Trinity to the bone. All right,
For
wonderful, wonderful. Well, it's good to have you on Kingdom Shakers and for you to be able to share with us what is happening with you, and just tell us a bit about yourself, Glynis. We would have, of course, met through Jennifer Johnson here of Women of Purpose Ministries, and it's such a beautiful thing for ladies to be able to connect wherever we are around the world. So tell us a bit about Glynis. Who is she?
Okay, that's a real open question. I can just say what all the things that I
no problem, or you can
say,
start from.
If I was to say that Glynis, as we started there, Glynis is now a retired person who started her life journey in Trinidad. So I was born in Trinidad, and they took me or brought me to the UK back in the days when people used to come up on the ship.
Yes.
They brought me up here back then, and I was 18 months old when they brought me here. So I have recently had another description or identification added to me, which I now am called a Windrush child, or Windrush of the Windrush generation.
Yeah.
Those people that came here back in the 50s and worked and built the country and such. So that's as I say, that's a new political designation I've been given. But Glynis is this young lady that grew her early years here. First 10 years I spent here. And back in those days, in the 50s, I can remember that I would walk a street in London and see no other Black. So I was a true anomaly within the society. And I'm dark, I'm not light skinned. So I stood out, and it was like, whoa, who is that? And such. I survived those 10 years, and I say survived. And then I had the good fortune of being sent back to where I was born when I was around 10. And remember being a mix of excited and concerned about this place, going on a plane and then going to this place and asking people, where is this and what is it like? And the amount of people that told me that I was going to have to swing through trees, I cannot tell you.
Oh, no.
I cannot tell you.
Wow.
They told me, they said, it's a good thing you're a tomboy because you're going to have to swing through trees, because that's how and you're going to live in a tree, and you're not going to wear all these clothes you're wearing. You're going to wear grass skirts, and you're going to eat bananas and fruit. And I thought, wow, imagine living in trees. I'm going to live in a tree. Wow. I was 10 and I was excited.
Okay. All right. Perspective.
I landed in Piarco in Trinidad, and there I am seeing all these lights and thinking, but where are the trees where people live? I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. I saw airport, I saw cars. I saw, for what is all this? We landed in the night, and I remember the journey to my grandmother's house, because I actually went back to live with my grandmother. And I remember looking outside and seeing lots of trees, lots of coconut trees and so, and wondering, what kind of tree do we live in? And those that came to meet me at the airport, I told them what I was told, and they just laughed. And they didn't tell me anything. They must have thought, this stupid girl. And I remember when they pulled up outside my grandmother's house, I thought, what are we doing here? They said, there's somebody here that needs to see you. And I went inside and I saw my grandmother. I said, Mother, what are you doing here? She said, what do you mean? I live here. I said, but where's the tree? And there was somebody a young man from the church, they used to rent a certain part of the building. And I remember they came to help me to bring my bags inside. And I thought, are you the butler?
Wow.
That's what I saw on TV.
Yes, yes.
So it was just, I remember those things so clear. It just goes to show I was 10. I wasn't 2. I was 10. And look at what I had in my mind about what the Caribbean is like. So that was for me the beginning, the beginning of when I look back and think how I have just, transitioned through life. That certainly stands out for me. And I don't know when last I actually mentioned that, but as you said, tell me about Glynis. I thought, well.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. So you would have had that experience in Trinidad. So were you there for a number of years following?
I was. I stayed there until I just completed my state registered nursing qualification. And at that point, I had my 2 children, and I wanted my mom to see them. And relationship at the time wasn't all that. I thought, now is the time. Let me go and let mommy engage her grand. So I then brought the 2 children up to England. And my second was the same age that I was when I was brought up. He was 18 months, the baby. We came up to England and we stayed with mom for a while. And I had the opportunity then of being able to further my nursing by going into midwifery. I got a placement here and thought, well, I have it here. If I go back to Trinidad, there's a waiting list. I'll be waiting for a few years before I get to do it. So I'll do this.
Right.
And then I'll go home. Husband wasn't interested in coming to England. So I said, okay, I'll do this and then I'll come home. And it just rose. By the time I was finished doing that, the relationship really was over. Then it was, well, you've done this much, what you may as well just do that. So then I did my health visiting, and it really just rolled. And then I didn't want to move the first child before, so I said, okay, when you finish primary, then we will go. Then by the time she finished, then the second one, by the time
wow.
So it just rolled, the time rolled, and I ended up staying much longer than I thought I would have stayed. But that's life. I had already given my life to Christ by then, by the time before I left Trinidad.
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah, before I left Trinidad, I had done that. And I was a Jehovah's Witness then.
Okay.
So I baptized as a Jehovah's Witness. And that's what my grandmother was. That's what immediate family, the cousins I grew with, that's what we were. So we went to Kingdom Hall and we studied, and we went on the service ministry door to door and stuff. I did that, and that's what I introduced to my children. Okay, so if I fast forward here, we're in England, and life is not at all what life is not what people think it is. Let me say it that way. It's not what people think it is. And I spent quite a few years of initially coming here, feeling quite sad, especially at the end of the year, all anxieties, our all years nights, and you see all of those sorts of things. This place got so lonely at those times because they don't do relationship like we do. It's a different society, a different thing. It works for them. but it's not what we know and what we are comfortable with and what we enjoy. So those years were very difficult, very, very difficult. But I was here, you know, the drive we have that you accomplish and you do better for yourself so you can do better for your children and stuff. And so that's what I did to the best that I could do.
So
Yeah.
So you would have done your nursing, and your
State registered nursing in Trinidad.
In Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
And then you would have done midwifery there in the UK.
In the UK.
How did you get involved in counseling and teaching, training, and managing?
I did that many years after. So I did midwifery, then I did health visiting. And then at one point in my health visiting career, I just thought, you know, there's something that's not right with this. I have a issue with this, in that as a health visitor, I am trained to do prevention. And I am working alongside a social worker who is trained to operate based on evidence. So when I bring, and I actually was attracted to the whole field of protecting children. So if I see signs of something that could happen, I am ready to step forward to stop it from happening. But my colleague is waiting for the evidence, which means it has to happen. And that just felt crazy. I thought, this don't make sense to me. If I come to you and tell you, I am cautious, I'm concerned about a situation, and you're telling me, well, you know, I hear what you're saying, but has this happened? Has this happened? Has that happened? Has this? And I'm saying, no, that hasn't happened. But I'm telling you what I'm sensing, what I'm seeing, and you are waiting for evidence.
Right.
Then where does that leave me? Because that means I have to get myself ready to write a case report.
Right.
Now, whether that was the way she was trained that she should be operating, or whether that was her underlying feeling that I wasn't competent in what I was saying, I don't know. All I know was she was waiting for a bus to hit somebody, and I'm trying to stop the person from getting hit by the bus. So I just thought, you know, I'm not staying in this, because this is going to stress me, and I don't intend to let it kill me. So I will go into something else. And I left. People thought I was mad because they want to know, how can you get to a place like health visiting and leave? I thought, because it's life. And I'm not staying in anything that I don't feel I can do and feel that my conscience is good. So I left and I went into training. Training like, I studied then and did courses then to train the trainer, and to work with organizations that were looking to retrain and reskill young people, but also adults. So that's what I went into. And it was in doing that that someone said to me, you know, you'd be good at counseling. I said, no, not me on counseling. Counseling is headache. I will get drowned in that because it's a lot of problems. And I know that I will absorb people's problems, and that I have 2 children. I can't do that. So I pushed it away for a while. And then the person told me, no, when you actually learn to do counseling, you actually don't do that. The thing you're thinking you'll do, you don't do that. So I said, okay, I went and I did the training, and the tutor was very impressed and thought again that I would be good at it. So I said, okay, let me do this thing that people are saying that they see me as being good at. And that's when I did my counseling training. Then the organization, the college, wanted me to stay, and I became a coordinator for them. Because one of the things I think that also attracted them to me was that here was this Black woman demonstrating that she's able. So we are in an area that has a fair percentage of Black. Why not let her do? So
there you go.
Yeah, so I would say I was in the right place at the right time.
So the Lord opened that door.
He certainly did. He certainly did.
Amen to that. So,
Yes.
so I mean, decades later, you know, you've been able to travel to Spain and France and Ghana, Amsterdam, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, the USA and the UK. My goodness, how has the journey been for you? and then I want to get into the anthology. How has the journey been
Okay.
for you on this?
It's been wonderful. I've always liked the idea of traveling. I suppose that's why at the age of 10, when they said you're going to go to this place and people live in trees, I was excited. I thought, yes, I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going to go somewhere. And I've always liked the idea. Whenever I've traveled, I say to people, when I come, where am I going to have to stay? In a hotel? No, no, no. Hotel is, all of them are the same thing. It doesn't matter where you put them. They're bricks. They got pretty lights. It's all the same. I want to go where people are, where the real people are.
Okay.
So I would go somewhere and they would take me to the village or to the this or to that. So I can see the I say the trueness, not the thing that's plastered that everything looks the same, the trueness of the place. And yeah. So each of those places have gone like that. When I went to Africa again, I went with a friend. They thought I was very trusting to have taken that journey with people saying all sorts of negative things about Africa. And my mind, very similar to when I went to the Caribbean, I was blown. I thought, what are all these buildings doing here? Wow, look at the size of the houses. Wow. Where are the huts? Where are the little children with the skinny legs and the big belly?
Yes.
Oh, so many lies are told to us. It is untrue. It is amazing, the stuff that we believe that is just not true. So I've loved travel because of that, because it allows you to see the truth, and allows you to interact with people, and you start to get a sense of how we are different, but how God is so amazing, because as much as we are different, we are the same.
Yes, so true. So true.
It's just so
go
amazing.
through the same and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's been a fantastic.
Frozen.
See it as home. So when I speak about it, I speak about it as home.
You were frozen for a few seconds there.
Okay.
So okay, so you said when you speak about it, if you could say when you speak about it, to speak about it as home.
Okay. When I speak about Trinidad, I speak about Trinidad as home, even though I've touched places in different areas. I've lived now more years outside of Trinidad than I have lived in Trinidad, but still I see it as home.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so it's just amazing to see what God does with his children and how he uses us. And even as you recently would have been part of an anthology, Navigating Life anthology, Mindset, Identity, and Relationships, and Navigating Life anthology, Health, Grief, and Loss. Now, as you said, life isn't all it seems to be for everybody all the time. Now, you as a pastor's wife, as a counselor, as a master health and wellness coach, having traveled and so on, you would have had your own share of situations to deal with. Could you share with us what led to you writing in this anthology?
Well, about now just gone 20 years ago, at that time I was doing my my counseling and working as a coordinator of a counseling course in a college. We went to what they have here is like half-term break. And I said to my students just before we went on our last day, guys, you know, life is such that we never know the kind of things up ahead. And what we should seek to do is the people that are in our lives that we love, we need to let them know that we love them. We need to let them know. Don't hold back. Don't be, I don't know what was happening at the time in the course that made me offer that to them. So we all went off on the Friday, end of the week, had 1 week off, and then we were to come back the following week. And on the Sunday, before we were due back, I spent that weekend by a very, very close friend of mine.
Positions?
And while I was there, so I think I went to meet, my son was at work, my daughter, she was at home. She was working. My son went to work. And on the Friday, I went to meet him after work, said, let's have an ice cream. And I walked home with him and said, I'm going up by my friend for the weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. He said, all right, Mom. And that's what I did. And while I was there, I tried to reach him the Saturday night and didn't reach him, but his sister was with him on the Saturday night. And the Sunday morning, I tried to reach him again and I didn't get him. And by Sunday afternoon, my daughter was calling me to say, Mom, somebody just rang me and told me that my brother passed. So I said, what do you mean he passed? So in my head as a nurse, pass means die, but you can't be meaning that.
Right.
So I said to her, pass and go where? Where he used to ride his bike around a lot. I thought, where has he gone with his bike now that he's fallen off the bike? What has happened? I said, was he on his bike? She says, I don't know, but I'm just telling you, I had this phone call. Then she said, hold on, they're calling me back. So then she took the next call and said, Mom, it was a nurse from the hospital, and she's saying that my brother has died. I said, but that can't be. You've only got one brother, so how could he have died? He's home.
Right.
Anyway, with that, I dropped the phone and I'm heading for where the hospital that she's given me. Indeed, when I got there, it was true that my son was lying down in this room, and I want to know, why is he playing? Tell him to get up. This is not a game. But there's a lot of police around, and friends that I know of him are around. And I'm thinking, what is this? The police had to tell me, try to be calm. But when the nurses finished with me, they'd like to say, what does the nurse want with me? So the nurse was hesitant to let me go in until, according to her, I calmed down because I wasn't to touch anything. And that was obviously just making me more upset because I want to know why this can't be real. But it was real. My son was lying in this room and he was no longer with us. And I can't describe the feeling. It was just unreal. It was just unreal. And if somebody could tell me he was knocked down, then that might help. But nobody was saying anything like that. And I just had all these police here thinking, why are the police here?
Right.
So that was the beginning of a 2-year investigation into his passing. It was initially investigated as a murder because of the bruising that was on him and whatever else other stories that went with that. But those were dark, difficult days. And part of, I believe, what made it dark and difficult was lack of clarity. Yeah. So I would constantly say, wait, hang on, wait, just a minute. Where is Sheldon? And they'll say, you know where he is. I said, no. Where is he? Okay, you tell me he's there. Why is he there though? Well, we don't know. Well, that don't make sense. What do you mean you don't know why he's there? What happened to him? They don't know. It's like, no, none of this is making sense because you cannot tell me you don't know all of these things. And then you still tell me that. So then I'm thinking, right, was he involved in some kind of police undercover operation that I didn't know about, and they had to make him disappear? And my mind went all there because nothing else was making any sense. And that remains so. Nobody made sense from that day because nobody has been able to tell me really what happened.
And that level of confusion and not understanding would have lasted for how long?
It's still present.
Yes.
But it is not as... I've got to a place where I've said, right, okay, God, whatever it is that's happened, clearly you guys are not playing ball. right? This is 20 years on, so you're not going to give me back. Okay, so I have to do something else. Okay, that's where I've got to. This happened in 1999.
He
Um,
was how old?
he was 21. He was 21. Died in the February. He would have been 22 in the May.
So even in that difficult time, how would you have held on to God in that time? How was God to you at that time? If you could just share with us so that people can at least hear a bit of what is in the anthology so they could also read for themselves.
At that time, I was confused where God was concerned. It's like, God, why? You know it, nobody else needs to know, but you know the heart of this young man. So why are we in this place? This is not, I'm not wishing that somebody else lose their child, but why have you taken this young man? You know what this young man was like. So I don't understand. Why have you, whatever has gone wrong, why has this gone wrong? And several people tried to tell me, God knows best, all sorts of stuff that we say, especially as people in the church. And I had to get to a place of saying, here, what? You see, church people, let every single one of them stay far from me. I want to hear nothing, because they're not helping this situation. Whatever they tell me, they don't know what they're telling me anyway. So if I have to guess, I don't want to hear them, because there's a variety that you get. I remember I told you I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
So where is he? Is he lying down asleep, waiting to go into paradise? Has he gone to heaven? Has he gone to hell? Where has he gone to, and why? I don't understand. So I just got to a place where I say, okay, I don't want to hear. I want to hear nobody else's perspective or nothing. And when I got to that place, I realized that I wasn't saying that God did not exist. I was saying that I was confused about how he exists and what he wanted and why this had happened. That's what I was confused about. I didn't seem to have a feeling that he was not in existence. So I said, okay, God, here, this is what I've just realized. It just dawned on me in my anger that I don't doubt your presence. But I'm telling you now that if it means that I have to die because I'm saying I don't want no church people to talk to me, then let me die. Because I'm not letting any of you come and tell me anything. I don't want to hear. I don't care if it's a bishop. I don't care if it's a pope. I don't care who it is. I don't want to hear. You have made me. And my belief is that I am unique, because that's what you told me.
Right.
So if you know me that well, you know my heart. You know I love you and I want to serve you. But you also know I'm confused, and you know why I'm confused. So you see all those people who can't get it together as to what it is you want. You keep all of them over so in places called church and wherever else you want to call them, and don't let none come by me, because I don't want to hear. You find a way to talk to me.
Amen.
You find a way. You know me. You do your thing. You do your magic. You do it. But don't send nobody, because I'm not having it. I'm not letting nobody else talk to me.
So what was your experience with him from then on?
With God?
Yes.
God did exactly that. I just have to say. So when I say God is amazing, it's not church talk. He is just, I just say, you really got it. You just know your business. You know your business. You just know what to do. You know how to do it. But I get you now. I understand why you've given us the freedom to choose. That I understand now why you don't impose upon us. Church and ministers may impose upon us, but you don't. You don't impose upon us. And so now my relationship with God is so special, because it's like, God, we do wrong by you. We do you injustice, because we're always trying to make whatever we're trying to make. We don't do as you tell us. We just don't. You know,
My goodness.
I feel for God. I feel sorry for him because I keep watching the people who are supposed to be his people, his church people, make a mess.
Yeah,
And I
true,
just think, what are you doing?
true.
Why are you doing that?
Mhm.
You know, I feel sorry for God. That is where I am with God right now.
So,
I
so,
feel
so,
sorry for him.
so after having gone through this experience and, years later now, having the ability to write in this and be a part of this anthology. Um,
Well, this thing here,
yes, yes.
this anthology here, at the time of, I would say within about 2, 3 years of my son's passing, people said, Glynis, you should write a book. I said, what? A
Ooh,
book about what? About how you, because people just thought I would die. I just
wow.
didn't know. I didn't know if I was coming or I was going. And I suppose for people, especially those close to me, said, you're still here and you're not mad. You should write a book so that people can hear just how you managed to still be here. And I said, I'm not writing any book. That's my son. There's nobody else that had him as a son. Why would I be looking to tell another mother about my loss? What, she's having her own story across there. I just like I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. I'm sure she don't want to hear. So I'm not writing any book. And I said that constantly, constantly. I'm not writing. Yeah, but Glynis, you've managed. I said, listen to me well. I'm not writing anything. And I said that, and I said it right down to getting involved with this organization. This organization, this book, this anthology has come out of a Christian platform where one of the, let me say, I would call her a missionary, Claudine Reed, took on the job of trying to support us as we went through this terror called COVID-19.
Yeah, yeah.
And because I had met her somewhere previously and thought, oh, she's a good soul, um, very energetic. I have to step back and, whew, a bit too much for me, but she's a good soul. Um, she was going to do this thing, and I thought, yeah, all hands on deck because this is terrible. This is mind blowing. So I came forward to support, to be supportive in you're doing this venture. This is a venture. People need it. People are suffering. I'm here. I'm here. I'm in the background. I love to be in the background, but I'm here. Whatever I can do to support and help. And that started in March of 2020. And she said 12 weeks. I said, right, 12 weeks you can do. I was here. My husband had just gone to Barbados because we were appointed there, a church there. And I went down and came back up in a week to sort certain things out, be supportive here to my gran, and then got locked here. And
Mm.
he is there. So I thought, Lord, what is
Ah,
this now?
oh man. Yes, yes. I've heard
What is
those
this?
stories. Oh
God, what
man.
is this? I mean, okay, all right. So the world is doing COVID. So all right. Um, so I started with the group, and every Saturday we would go on into this forum, and it was really very rich and supportive. So it was a nice positive thing to look forward to on a Saturday. It it I felt as if it grabbed me by my hair and pulled me up when I was kind of sinking under all this confusion and all
Yes,
this
that's true.
dread and all this loss. Because the thing about the loss, it triggered my loss because loss, especially in the early days of COVID, was sudden and
Yes,
unexplained.
yes, yes.
People
So
healthy
yes,
just die. What do
yes.
you mean they just dead? What?
Mm.
They were okay. They went to work. They went to work. What do you mean? What? They just go into hospital. You waiting to take the clothes for them to come back out. They're dead. He said, what do you mean they're dead? How could they
Right.
die? Not
Yeah,
what was wrong with them? That was early days of COVID.
yes. So you've written this and now you are able to help those who are going through or will go through similar situations because this is a documented this is documented so people can turn to it at any time. What
Yeah.
what is your hope that people will get from your story?
My story, along with the other stories in the anthology, it shows just how as dark as days can get, and as confusing and as impossible to survive as days can get, there is a place that we can arrive that we would never have been able to dream that it would exist. I think that's the thing. I think if anybody had told me that I could be happy in the way that I am happy today, I would say, no, 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 you have to be crazy. You're not talking about me. That's not. And that's without, I haven't forgotten and I haven't lost my pain. All of that is still there, but I am able to. So now I say, God, you're really clever, you know. You're just so clever. You made this. You made this body. And look at what this body and mind is able to do. Who would
Yes.
think the two things could live in the same host?
Yes.
They're two
Yes.
opposites.
That's true. Look at that.
You know? So I just have to say, God, kudos to you. When you looked and you said, man is good, you knew what you were saying.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know that we fully understand,
It was good.
but he's
Wow.
amazing. He
So,
really is.
and now too, it's amazing too how he allows ministries to be birthed out of situations, because now you have chatting with grandma, and you're a
As for
mother
that,
and a grandmother
yes.
to young people, to counsel with them and to take them through their own situations. How is
Yes.
that going? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, this is one of my blood gran, suggested to me one day that, Grandma, you know, I don't know what I would do if you weren't around, because some of the things that I feel I'm going through, I just don't know who to talk. I don't know where to turn. And so she would often turn to Google. And I said, well, why do you go to that thing? I don't understand. I don't understand you young people. You tell me the thing makes you miserable, but you go to it. Why? Why you? She said, but who else do we go to? I said, what do you mean who else you go to? You go to family, you go to, she said, Grandma, we can't trust them. I said, what? What do you mean you can't trust them? She said, Grandma, I'm telling you, some of the kind of conversations I have with you, my friends cannot have it with some of their parents, and certainly not Gran. I said, but why? She said, because, no offense, but very often older people they just want us to just do. They don't want to explain. And if you ask for explanation, they get upset with you.
Yes.
They get upset with you. So then we just have to ignore them. They are a different generation. And that's what I'm finding out more and more. You know, but you know, even when I did work with children and children who were being abused, one of the things that I saw was that carers would abuse children and children would not turn their back on the carers. It's almost as if they have an inborn duty to be loyal to that person. And so even if the person was abusive, they themselves were not easy to turn on them. And here I was finding young people who were telling me they can't trust, talking things about they're in toxic families. I thought, where all they come out from? Where you in toxic family? That's your family. Yeah, but Grandma, that's what you're saying. But what you say, a lot of us, that's not what we experience. They tell you one thing, but they don't do that behind closed doors.
Yes.
Now, that just reminded me of the years that I worked as a guidance counselor, where I had children all the time telling me, Miss, when my mommy or my daddy come, he gonna tell you this and she gonna tell you that, but I telling you how it go at home. So I had to say, okay, I'm not fighting with you. So what else can I do if I don't fight? I said, Lord, help me here. I don't know what to do because I'm not young like them. What do you think you want me to do? And she came up with, Grandma, would you come online? I said, I don't like that place. Online, you don't want to be there. You haven't stressed. You want to bring all me there? Why you want to do that to me? She said, but Grandma, that's where we are. That's where we are. We wouldn't come look for you as a counselor in a room somewhere. That's where we are. I said, but why you want to be there if it's making you unhappy? She said, Grandma, I don't know, but that's where we are. So I said, oh Lord, God. I see, but you got to hold my hand, because you taking me somewhere that I don't like.
Yes, yes.
Right?
Wow, and
that's how it was birthed.
Grandma started, and that's on Instagram.
On Instagram, chatting with Grandma.
So how's it been going for you?
It's been amazing. I I sometimes get some messages from some young people who are saying things to me, and I think, my brain is saying, where's your grandmother or your grandfather or where's your mother? That you need to be having this conversation. And it's very sad that a lot of our young people do not have an older person that they can talk with without judgment. That's the thing, without judgment. And if I'm honest, if my blood grand come to me and tell me something, I'll be thinking, what? What?
True.
You see what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
But when I think of the place that I'm able to occupy for the non-blood grand, I then say, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to find a way, because you can see what it does for them. So your grand are in the same position. They need a non-judgmental space to work things out. It's not that they're stupid. It's not that they, like you hear so many people say, oh, those young people, they don't want God. It's like, hello, that is not true. That is not what you know about their life. You didn't grow up in their life. So don't pass that on them. That's not true. We have to find a way to do the thing different. That's like I had to say to God, hey, you see this church thing? Stop. I can't do it. Stop. I cannot do it. Well, they can't do it, but for a different reason.
Yes. So it's amazing that you have these ministries, and as a first lady, you're pastor's wife, you have grandchildren of your own, you have your family, you have the book now, which is a whole different world being opened up for you.
Yeah.
And what do you see? And I'll wrap up with this. What do you see happening, maybe even in the near future, for Glynis Brewster Nathan?
Well, what I see happening in the near future is something I have not spoken about, but you asked me what I see in the near future, so I'm going to tell you. When I decided to open up Signature Health, what God put in my heart was physical health, mental health, and financial health and well-being. I thought, I don't know nothing about finance, God, so I don't know where you're going with that. You get the wrong person again. Right? So I don't know where you're going with that. But he, how he can be persistent. So he has been persistent. And I keep saying, I don't know what to do with this, because what do I know about finance? I'm not a rich lady. I don't know what it is you want me to do with this. But what has come in my direction is I have connected with somebody who I knew, I have to say, in a former life, who is an educator in the space of finance, in particular in the trading world. And as I have looked at what COVID has done to the world, I'm thinking, how are people going to survive? How are they going to eat? How are they going to keep a roof over their head? So with that drive, I've said, no, we can't have this. Children education mashup, children drop out of school because they don't have devices to be able to do online. No. This is trouble brewing here, especially in the Caribbean and the poor areas of the world. And one of the questions I ask God every time I wake in the morning, I say, okay, Mr. Man, you woke me up this morning. What does you want me to do today? And what has been coming more and more is this whole connection with this young man and this couple, really, around the whole finance world. So I have forged a working relationship with them, and we have launched a adult but also youth area for people to learn to understand the finances of the world and to do things different.
Okay.
And that is roughly 2 months old. So it's baby budding, right. But already we can see people come in who are saying, thank you for this, because I was laid off and I didn't know where I'd get money. And because of what you taught me, look, I have now made X amount of money because I have. So I say, Lord, this is what you wanted me to do. You come quite where you come and find me to come and do this. You're an amazing God.
Amen. You're
amazing. Really so is, that really will be between that and mental health and well-being is where I think God has me positioned now for me to do what he's calling me to do.
Amen. Wow, what an amazing testimony. You have Glynis, Brewster, Nathan. I have to call your whole name. Everybody has to hear
Yes,
it.
yes. You can't leave out my grandmother,
Yeah,
and you certainly can't leave out Ronald Nathan,
that's
who
right.
has been such a pillar of support. I would
Yes.
not have been able to do this, the book, or anything
Mm,
if it was not for him. So, yep,
amen.
it has to be the whole thing, I'm afraid.
That's right. Where can
Yeah.
people find it? Where can people find the anthology?
Okay, so on Instagram, I'm on Instagram. Okay, so my space with chatting with grandma is mostly for young people to be able to come and say what they say and do what they do. Um, but I'm also on Instagram as Glynis underscore BN, Glynis underscore BN. And in both places, there is a link that people can actually purchase the book.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. And of course, the name of it again, if you wish to hold it up again, it's fine.
Okay.
Navigating Life Anthology. This one is health, grief, and loss. And there's also Navigating Life Anthology, Mindset, Identity, and Relationships. So
Yes.
thank you
Yes.
so much for sharing with us, Glynis, Brewster, Nathan, Master Health and Wellness Coach, founder of Signature Health, which of course is an international company with a
Yes,
tri-focus
it
of
is.
assisting clients with their physical, mental, and financial health. You just mentioned that. And you're an author as well, a writer as well. We can't forget that part of your bio.
And a contributing author to a bestseller. Wow,
That's right. That's right.
yeah. God is good. He's good. He's good.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Praise God for what he's doing. And we wish you all God's best. And of course, Glynis underscore BN on Instagram. And for the young people, chatting with grandma and
Yeah, no, this is chatting with
GRANMA.
grand. That's right. The way we
Right.
say it as Caribbean, not
Grandma.
grandma,
Right.
grandma.
Grandma. True. Thank you so much, Trinity the Ball, living in the UK. God bless you.
Yes.
And we wish you all the best that he has for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And that's it for today's Kingdom Shakers. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, you can always log on to the podcast on life975.com, or you can watch the video recording on Life 97.5 FM's Facebook page. God bless and take care.